Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course, where you will be trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit. I am your holographic assistant. Let's begin by stepping into your suit. You can see it suspended up ahead of you. If you see one of these buttons, press it, and I will appear to demonstrate.
Welcome to the HEV Mark IV protective system for use in hazardous environment conditions.
Moving around in your HEV suit. We'll practice in the hazard.
Good work. Those two suits can be tricky. Please proceed to the next area.
You will now duck into the next.
Very good. I hardly noticed you. On to the next area.
Now we will combine.
Good work. You look prepared for the next area.
To get into these pipes, you will have to signal your suit to make a duck jump. You'll want to stay. Nice job.
Search and destroy.
For God's sake, open the silo door! They're coming for us! It's our only way out! Oh my God, we're doomed!
A fellow scientist.
Fast, thank you.
Fine. You won't even know I'm here.
Don't shoot! I'm with the science team!
Hey, it's no good up there. It's all sealed off. The only way out would be to find someone with scanner access who can open the front door. I'm pretty sure there's a few scientists hiding somewhere in the labs. Maybe with both of us looking, we can track them down and get them to let us out.
Okay, we might live longer if we work together.
Command post. Team in position.
Mr. Freeman, but I couldn't risk opening that door until I was sure you'd scoured the area. This is the last entrance to the Radner complex. Every other has been sealed off to contain the invasion. When we realized that you might actually make it here, we drew straws to see who should stay behind to let you through. Obviously, I drew the short one. My colleagues are waiting at the tip of the Lambda reactor. Waiting for you, I mean. The reactor is shut down right now, but you can activate it on your way up. You'll have to plug the core anyway to get into the teleportation labs. You're not authorized to know about those. But I can see you already know a great deal more than any one man is supposed to.
Were you in weapons research too? I built the gluon gun, but I just can't bring myself to use it on a living creature. You don't look as if you have any trouble killing things. Isn't it? You'll need to activate both pumps to flood the reactor, and then that access pipe down there will take you to the core. Time is short.